Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Chaos Head. The floor of the AH General Hospital, where the psychiatric examining rooms could be found, was steeped in silence. It was said that the surgical department and the emergency room had been in quite a state since the earthquake, as injured people, who had lost consciousness due to seemingly baseless symptoms, were carried in one after the other. But the psychiatric ward had nothing to do with that. And if anything, the patients visiting for diagnosis finished earlier than usual. In a few days, perhaps potential PTSD patients would come pouring in, but for today, at least, the psychiatric department had run out of scheduled appointments, or scheduled, wherever you are from. The nurse Hazuki The nurse Shino realized that she had been working here since the previous day's night shift, with hardly a break. She was hungry as well. The psychiatric ward had lost one of its doctors the other day. He had been ruthlessly killed in a new gen incident, and no substitute had arrived yet, so they were constantly understaffed. But all that remained for today's work were minor miscellaneous tasks, and if she passed them on to the nurse responsible for the next night shift, she could finally take some time off. Patting her cheeks with both hands as though telling her to sell. Alright, are you going to cooperate, voice? As though telling herself to keep it up for just a little longer, she was about to swiftly cut through the empty lobby. She sensed the gaze coming from behind her. A prickling sensation at the back of her neck. Goose flesh rose on her arms with a shiver. And a sound of pouring. Fear was rusty needles poking at my neck. She automatically turned around, but all that continued beyond there was the silent corridor. No one was there. Oh shit, that's Bun's voice. Isn't that great? I think something's up with this dude. Oh shit. Hazuki jerked at the voice that came flying toward her from a completely different direction. One man stood alone in the lobby. She'd convinced herself was empty, and he'd called out to Hazuki when he spotted her. He was a young man with some childishness remaining in his determined face. His complexion was ruddy, and he certainly didn't appear to be ill.
あなたは
ちょっと時間もらっていいっすか。
はあ
どうもっす。
He smiled bashfully, then abruptly grabbed Hazuki's arm and began walking from the lobby toward the stairs. Upon seeing Hazuki's confusion, the man, Suo Mamoru, pulled a black ID book out of his breast pocket and held it up a little demurely. It was a police badge. Suo stopped at the stairway landing and looked around with the appearance of one being doubly careful. Doubly careful.
それでお話って
Hazuki, who still had work left to do, looked a bit restless. Appearing to understand this, Suo took a single photograph from his pocket without any preamble.
この少年に見覚えないっすか。
Pictured there was Nichijo Alright. Pictured there was Nichijo Takami's listless-looking face. Hazuki, who had confidence in her ability to remember faces as part of her work, had already nodded unthinkingly.
西條拓海。間違いないっすか。
ええでも
Hazuki's hesitation was only natural. Even if the person asking were a police officer, There couldn't be anything good about leaking a patient's information. But Suwa had been well aware of this when he began speaking to Hazuki. He put on an earnest gaze as he revised his previously light attitude, and lowering his voice, he plunged on ahead.
頼みがあるんすけど、西条匠のカルテこっそり見せてもらえないですか？
そんなの無理です。できません。
とある事件に関わる重要なことなんすよ。
At her wit's end, Hazuki tried to leave the spot immediately, but Suwa circled around and blocked her path.
困ります。
迷惑はかけないっす。だから頼みますよ。
Suwa fell to his knees, then and there and began prostrating himself.
やめてください。本当に無理なんです。
これ以上犠牲者を出さないためにも。
What on earth could she do to make him give up? Unable to think of a suitable way to refuse him, Hazuki could only keep on going in circles. See, I told you something was fucked up about this guy. Yes, it is. I was a little dazed after parting with Senna, but soon I returned to myself and dashed back here. Oh, looks like your waifus are fine. Ah. Oyome-san wa daijoubu desu. Happily, I didn't encounter either Shogun or Yua. In the end, I'd gone home without meeting Rimi. Because of the commotion over Ayase and the midday earthquake, school must have cancelled classes early and sent the other students home. If I waited a little longer, maybe Rimi would come to visit me. Until then, I probably had no choice but to endure the fear on my own. To continue averting my eyes from anxiety, I decided to use my recovered PC to gather information. The little light on my cell phone, which I'd left next to the monitor, was blinking. When I opened it, I had a new email. I thought that maybe Rimi had contacted me, but... It's from it's from sister. Something amazing happened at school today. Someone tried to kill herself by jumping off the roof. It freaked me out and I was really scared. I wonder if she was okay. Were you at school when it happened? Oh, and the earthquake was unbelievable too. It made my head super double ache. I wonder what it was. So she'd kind of enjoyed being part of the peanut gallery. Congrats to her. I didn't send a reply, of course. Yeah, whatever. I had a go at looking Ayase up online. As before, I couldn't connect to Phantasm's official homepage. No online newspapers had reported on her. Well, they must have had their hands full with the earthquake that had rocked Shibuya, and they probably couldn't be bothered with the failed suicide attempt of some indie band's vocalist. At the moment, I didn't have any way to find out whether or not Ayase was alright. Much more information had been determined with respect to the earthquake since the last time I checked. The number of deaths had risen to 118, and there were currently over 300 injured. To think that the fatalities would exceed 3 digits. But, I guess. The epicenter was in Shibuya, and surprisingly, the casualties were almost wholly restricted to the Shibuya region. The earthquake had been magnitude 5. There were also articles stating that most of the magnetic devices throughout Shibuya had been damaged. When I considered the fact that there were many other people out there who had suffered through tragedies like mine, frustration surged up in me yet again. It was a tragedy indeed. My precious Moe art collection and my Eriga save data would never come back to me for all of eternity. In any case, I couldn't think of it as In any case, I couldn't think of it as being. Alright, in any case, I couldn't think of it as having been an ordinary earthquake. It was utterly abnormal for there to be 118 deaths. That abnormality, of course, had become a hot topic on the net. I'm from Hot Topic. I have a chain, goes all the way down to my nipple. Whatever. I thought back over the moment of the earthquake. At the time, an astounding impact had struck me. A sensation I'd never before tasted in my life. As though my head were boiling, as though it were exploding. Having to take something like that, it wouldn't be odd if you died from shock. I watched the news on TV as well as looking online. My PC had a TV tuner attached to it. That's why I don't need a TV in my room.
現在までに死者118名、重軽傷者300名以上と非常に多くの犠牲者が出ていることが分かっています。さて、渋谷の駅前と中継がつながったようです。島谷さん、現地の様子はいかがですか
？2005年に同じように震度5の地震が東京であったんですよ。その時はゼロで、なぜ今回は100名以上の被害者が出ているんですか？
被害者の数は震度に比例するわけじゃないんです。そこには様々な要因がありまして、亡くなった方の死因や病院に運ばれた負傷者の容体については未だ詳しい情報が入っておりません。また渋谷区を中心に磁気メディアが全壊してしまっていることについて今日は専門家にお越しいただいております。
地質学産業研究所より林原泰造先生、財団法人地質調査環境センターより小沢幹人先生にお越しいただきました。
林原さん、今回の地震について磁気メディアに深刻な被害が出た原因というのはどういうところにあるんでしょうか？
まず知っておいていただきたいのは、渋谷区あたりの地下200メートル付近には磁鉄鉱、つまり天然の磁石が多く埋蔵されている地層があるということですね。地層の分類としては火成岩層ですが、私たちはこのエリアを磁鉄鉱の谷、マグネタイトバレーと呼んでいます。地中にある磁石の谷ですね。文字通りかなり大規模な岩脈なんですよ。ここにですね、今回の地震のような大きな刺激が加わったとするならば、その影響で地上に存在する磁生態、主に磁気メディアの持つ記録部に、致命的なダメージを与えてもおかしくはないんです。
I'm gonna let you hear that again since I fucked that up.
ここにですね、今回の地震のような大きな刺激が加わったとするならば、その影響で地上に存在する磁生態、主に磁気メディアの持つ記録部に、致命的なダメージを与えてもおかしくはないんです。
There you go.
何をバカな。
小沢先生は別の意見ですか？
確かに渋谷の地下には巨大なマグネタイトの岩脈があることは事実です。ですが、磁石と呼ぶにはあまりにも微弱なこのマグネタイト群にはですね、地上の磁気モーメントや安定磁場を崩すほどの力はないというのが通説になっています。実際ですね、過去にも震度5の地震は何度も発生しています。過去のそれらの地震では今回のような被害はなかった。なので原因は別にあるのではないかと考えるのが妥当だと思います。
そうは言うがね、今回の異常な犠牲者数についてはただの地震では片付けられない何かがあるのが事実なわけであり、 渋谷にいた人のほとんどが頭痛がしたって訴えてることからも間違いなく自鉄鋼が関係している可能性が。
地場ごときで100人も殺せると主張するおつもりですか？
それではここで CM です。
Oops.
結局詳しいことは何も分からずか。
It completely disregarded how, right after the earthquake, a vast white cloud had arisen over Shibuya, as well as the fact that the sky had turned white. Yeah, okay, a vast white cloud and the sky had turned white. Wow. No, at first, everyone had made sure to report about it. It creeped me out, the way they acted as if it hadn't happened in the first place. Alright, sweet. I guess we're almost at Chapter 7 now. Near off-hours entrance to the HA General Hospital, there was an area where ambulances could pull up alongside the building and deliver emergency patients. Now, two ambulances were parked there, and the ambulance group members attempted to carry people who had been wounded in the earthquake into the hospital. A doctor in pale green surgery scrubs and a middle-aged head nurse yelled while instructing them on how to come in. A number of patients awaiting treatment had already sat down in the area around the off-hours entrance, demonstrating that the doctors were having trouble getting to everyone. The patients being born in could be divided into roughly two groups. Those with external wounds had blood flowing from their arms or foreheads, and their faces were screwed up in agony. It was painful to look at them, but their examinations had been postponed. The ones who had been prioritized for admittance were the unconscious patients who had no external wounds whatsoever. This baffling symptom was awfully common among the emergency patients who had been brought here as a result of the earthquake. It was a phenomenon that hadn't been witnessed in previous large earthquakes, and the doctors had yet to determine the reason for their unconsciousness. Another ambulance arrived on the scene, blaring its shrills. Alright. This is a tough one. A tough nut to crack. Blaring its shrill siren. Thank you. When the doctor asked about the patient's symptoms, the worker who had descended from the ambulance yelled, "Oh shit, calm the fuck down, that scared me." He gave no other explanation. Normally this would have driven the doctor to complain. In a situation as jumbled as this, if someone said top priority to you without any explanation, it would be the ordinary answer. No, it would not be the ordinary answer to ask, "Are you making fun of me?" No, it'd be like, "Dude, what the fuck's going on?" Unexpectedly, however, both the doctor and the head nurse nodded at once. They helped bring the stretcher down from the ambulance. Kishimoto Ayase lay on the stretcher as though sleeping, unconscious. He groaned faintly. Unconcerned by the hateful stares of the externally wounded patients seated all around, the doctor and the ambulance crew hastened to carry the stretcher inside the hospital. Sweet. A girl watched this unfold from a short distance away. She stood at the hospital's main entrance. Saki Hatarimi bit her lip and furrowed her eyebrows, a strained expression on her face.
Kishimoto-san.
Sweet. Well, that's fucked up. The earthquake concerned me, but I was even more preoccupied with the thoughts of Shogun. Though my migraine had mostly gone away, anxiety continued to dominate my head, and being alone made me grow more and more depressed. I had yet to receive any form of contact from Rumi. I tried calling her, but I got her voicemail again. Even though, up until now, Rumi had invariably come sailing to wherever I was and reassured me, saying it'll be okay. Why wouldn't she come for me today? Had she told me how she would always stay with me? Dude, you self-centered, stupid ass motherfucker. fucking piece of shit. Shut the fuck up about yourself once in a while. God damn. Whew. I ground my teeth and immersed myself into redoing my PC settings to elude my insecurity. I'd start by fixing my email configuration from the ground up. Since I hadn't touched it since I first tweaked the settings, I didn't remember how I liked to have everything arranged. I had to begin by finding the instructions from my email software in ISP. That's what I have to do sometimes. Sweet. Before I knew it, I was damp with sweat. Though it didn't involve a huge amount of labor, many times midway through I wanted to throw it all away in irritation. Even so, an hour later, 30 minutes of which was spent searching for the manual, I'd finally restored the email service to myself. I immediately checked my mail.
メールだよボケなさ
Bokenase. So it. What? Get hooked on loaded arrow codes? Heyo! Whose eyes are those eyes from Nanami? My husband cheating on me from Rudiko? Wow, this shit is full of spam. I'd finally become able to hear her voice. It was a real relief to listen to her. I felt like it'd been all worthwhile. I had 8 new items in my inbox. Pretty much all of them were spam. Mixed in with the spam, there was a mail with a subject line and a sender that caught my attention. Jesus. Very cool. Now fucking click it. I groaned without thinking. What was this? Was an enemy pulling my leg? If so, then made her her lowest of the low. I'd gonna beat her. What the fuck? Dude, learn to talk. Who the fuck translated this? Look at your syntax next time. God. Ugh. I'd gonna go beat her to death. Like, seriously, that's such a weird sentence. No, wait a sec. Nanami couldn't have emailed me here. She never sent an email to my PC address in the past. A little earlier, even she'd mailed my cell phone. I hadn't told her about my PC email address in the first place. The convergence of multiple coincidences had just sort of happened. Nanami was quite a common name, true. Even the phrase whose eyes are those eyes was incredibly popular now. You'd see it getting used all over the place. There was nothing weird about it getting used as the title of a spam email. It's true. For the time being, I decided to read the contents.
結構な長文だな。
Just fucking read it.
さっきはチャットで話ができて楽しかったよ。ちなみに送信者の名前はダミー。
Oh, sweet. Hi, Shogun.
僕の名前は将軍だよ。え
Yeah, whatever. Just keep on reading.
将軍が僕のメアド知ってるはずが。
Yeah, that's cool. But what if Shogun were recording my thoughts? Extracting my email address might be easy bad for him.
嘘でしょ
Look, dude. What is this? It's a fucking mail. Just read it. I'm so glad ISS-san was rescued. I thought perhaps I'd use her as a victim in my next new-gen creation, but suicide is fine too. But how very likely you, Takumi-kun, to hit a new high score. You left me in awe. You truly are special. Wait, what? My next new-gen creation? Seriously? Yeah, it is quite intimidating. Now, next up is Nishijo Nanami-chan. It'd be nice to see a dramatic development involving siblings, but thanks to the earthquake, Shibuya is currently in a rather brutal state. It's up to you whether or not you'll be able to reach a conclusion so touching as to send all that flying away. Hasn't it started becoming a bit troublesome to set off on quests unarmed? You're a hero, so don't you want to get your hands on a hero's sword? Please look forward to it. He's crazy. Oh god, oh man. Oh god, oh man. Let's start the Nanami-chan rescue quest. I'd like you to come at the roof of the Oath Run at 9 tonight. I'm planning to get you on TV, so please be sure to look properly heroic. P.S. On a side note, have you accepted my present? Shogun. When he said things like quest and high score, he almost made it sound like a game.
僕が勇者なんかじゃない。ナイトハルトじゃない。
I'd get murdered right off the bat. I want to run away. I want to run away. Remy, I had to get Remy to protect me. Why wouldn't she contact me? Had she gotten injured in the earthquake? But Misume had said nothing about it when I met him. I took my phone in hand and looked to see if any calls or messages had arrived from Remy.
来てない。
Sweet. Where the heck was she? I had to start. My phone email inbox. At the very top was displayed the email from Nanami that had reached me shortly before. Nanami, was she okay? Probably. I reread the message from Shogun one more time from the start. What did this mean? For now, I better try calling Nanami. I opened my cell phone's address book. There were only 2 recorded numbers. Home, Remy's cell, and Nanami's cell. Every single time we came across each other, Nanami nagged at me to call her. There was no helping it, so this time I called her for once. So be good about it and pick up. If you don't, I'll never call you again, okay? Yeah, whatever you'd in there. I won't let you make excuses like something about you getting hurt and trapped in place during the earthquake. Yeah, that would be fucking stupid. I pulled up Nanami's number and pressed the send button. I put the phone to my ear. No response. The calling sound wouldn't start ringing. I knew it. I knew it tended to take a little time like this when you make calls with a cell phone, but right now the soundless time seemed to last forever, making me horribly irritated.
早くしてよ。よし、繋がった。
What? The sound, what was it? I experimented with taking my cell phone away from my ear. Oh god, she's outside. An unfamiliar melody resonated through the room. This could be her phone's ringtone? Whose phone was ringing, bruh? Yeah, who the fuck's phone could be ringing, you stupid asshat? In terms of the timing, no matter how I thought about it, I shook my head. I'd never heard Nanami's ringtone, so there was no evidence that this melody belonged to Nanami's phone. Frightened, I put the phone back to my ear for one more time. Alright, Moso trigger, and that's gonna be it. Nanami still hadn't picked up. Please hurry up and answer. Ah, it connected.
ナナミ
Yeah, it's her.
ナナミでしょ。返事しろよ。今どこにいるんだ。大丈夫なの。何か言って。ナナミ。
Well, that sounds awfully fucking close.
実は
I'm under your fucking bed. Huh? Something about this was strange. Like I was hearing Nanami's voice not merely from the phone, but also from close by me.
お前一体どこにいるんだ。
あのね、
上
I looked up without giving much thought to it. I saw a human figure moving atop the bed, wriggling in that narrow space, sending my mountains of piled up arrogate tumbling. Surely not.
そこにいるの。
見つかっちゃった。
Just as I thought. The one who poked her head out with an apologetic expression on her face was Nanami. Could it be that she'd been hiding? Since when?
何が手だよ。それより車椅子の怪しいやつに会わなかったか。
I scrutinized Nanami all over as she descended from the bed, attempting to determine whether there were any abnormalities with her.
鬼、ちょっと落ち着いてってば。
聞いてるんだ。答えろよ。お前、本当に大丈夫なのか。
それって将軍のことだよね。
まさかあったのか。どこで何をされた。
I grabbed Nanami's shoulders and desperately pressed her for a response. Damn it. Nanami was an impudent little sister, but it'd be my fault if Shogun had turned her into spoiled goods. Why the fuck did I turn Southern there? Fuck. Shogun had gotten his hands on Nanami as a way of provoking me. Nanami had been caught up in my mess. Ooh, that was a wrong choice of wording, bro. I wept at how pathetic I was. I'd caused trouble not merely for myself, but also for those around me. A harmless otaku my ass. I was scum. I was garbage as a human being, not to mention as a brother.
鬼、泣いてるの？もしかしてナナのことを心配してくれてる？
ごめん、僕のせいで。
泣かないでよ。困ったな。
Alright, well, since this is fucking taking longer than I expected it to, I'm gonna make one final save, and I'll see you guys next time. And we'll continue off. And as soon as we get to Chapter 7, I'm gonna have to stop it, because I can't save in Chapter 7 due to crashing. So I'll see you guys next time, and thank you for watching.